If you have hooded eyes and you apply your eyeshadow on your lid, sometimes you won't be able to see it because it hides under that extra skin, which we call the hood. It's pretty common and normal to have hooded eyes, but keep in mind with every eye shape, there's a certain technique of eyeshadow application with the goal that your eyeshadow should be visible even when you keep your eyes open. Many of you might wonder what are hooded eyes, and the easiest way to maximize the space by pushing your brows upward. I always like to use a micro tip brow pencil to keep the brows looking light and natural. And today I'm going to be using the Benefit Precisely My Brow in the shade 4.5. I start with filling in the top portion of my brows, only in the sparse areas. Then I use a spoolie brush to push my brow hair upward so I can clearly see at the bottom and fill it in. I'm not going to be filling in the outer and inner ends to keep away the focus from it, otherwise it starts looking very harsh and it can also weigh down on your lid further. You'll also observe that my eyelids are a couple shades deeper than what it is under my brows. So using a concealer, I'm going to even out everything. And to do so, I'm using the Milani concealer in the shade 145. And when you even out the skin tone underneath the brows, it gives you more flexibility to create that new crease. I'm going to lightly set this with the one size translucent loose powder to prevent the concealer from settling in those fine lines and creasing. Now let's start with my crease. I'm going to apply some eyeshadow up until my crease. And for that, I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette, and I'm dipping into the shade Aura. I'm going to apply it all the way from my lash line up to my natural crease line. And as you can see, that eyeshadow disappears under the hood because the hood has settled on my lid and it now almost looks like an eyeliner. So when you create those beautiful eyeshadow looks, they will not be visible when you apply it this way when you have hooded eyes. So what I'm going to do to make the eyeshadow visible is to create a new crease above the natural crease line. While I'm looking straight in the mirror, I'm going to mark an area right in the center of my new crease in a way that when I keep my eyes open, I should still be able to see that marking. I'm going to extend that to my corners. Again, now when I keep my eyes open and I'm looking straight, you can still see that eyeshadow. And when I lift my brow, you can see that gap because we've created a new larger lid space, almost double the lid space because of that new crease. I'm going to use the same eyeshadow to fill that in. And you can use this technique with any eyeshadows, whether cream or powder. This will be the new lid and you can dress it up or down the way you prefer. Now using a blending brush, I'm going to soften the edges. I'm going to use the shade Mantra to deepen the outer corner with a small blending brush. I'm going to keep adding more eyeshadow and blending till I'm happy with the intensity. And then I'm going to use the same eyeshadows in my lower lash line, starting with the shade Aura, which is the lighter auburn shade, smoking and softening it out in my lower lash line. And then I'm going to use the deeper brown shade called Mantra closer to my lash line. And then with the residue that's left on the brush, I'm also going to use it in the upper lash line. That's going to deepen up the lash line just a tad bit. Using my collaboration with Ofra Cosmetics, the highlighter in Flash, I'm going to highlight my brow bones and inner corner. Time to finish up, so I'm going to curl my lashes before I apply a coat of mascara. The one that I'm using today is the Huda Beauty Legit Lashes Mascara. You can also use lashes that are wispy and don't cover up your lid space. And today I'm going to be using the Tati Lashes in TL21. I like the way this wings out and that elongates the eye shape. And it's also wispy, so it doesn't cover up your lid space. And here is the finished look. Just quickly, here's a before and how it would look if I applied the eyeshadows up to my natural crease. And here's the look after I built a new crease above my natural crease.